The only thing I forgot to suggest was that he buy that generator at Macy's, but we'll have to see how that works out. But it's my pleasure also to recognize our Deming Cup Award honoree, Terry Lundgren. But I'm not going to talk about, a Terry Lundgren, the Terry Lundgren who's sitting here. He's really many different Terry Lundgrens, a lot of aspects to Terry. We're here to honor the Terry Lundgren, who started as a department store trainee and became chairman of the corporation. We're here to honor the Terry Lundgren, who leads his business to increasing success through the turbulent economic times we've been having here recently. The Terry Lundgren, who fosters social responsibility within his organization and in the larger community. And I see that with what he does in New York City. The Terry Lundgren, who supports education and philanthropy. And the Terry Lundgren, who is really a champion for New York City and the United States. I could spend all evening just naming Terry's accomplishments. Of course I won't, but I do want to give you a few examples. Terry, the businessman, began his retailing career in 1975. He was a trainee with Bullock's, a division of Federated Department Stores. Within 20 years, he was chairman and chief executive officer of the Federated Merchandising Group. Under his leadership, the company doubled in size in just 18 months through strategic acquisitions. As the head of Macy's, Terry's increased revenue by more than 70% since 2003. And not just during the up years before 2008, but sales also increased by $1 billion each year during the past 2 years. The Great Recession has profoundly affected many industries across our nation. Yet under Terry's leadership, Macy's added 58,000 associates during the past 10 years. If all of our companies could have done that, we wouldn't be nearly in the situation we're in today. And that's a true example of Terry's leadership. But there are other Terrys. Terry, the socially responsible citizen, fosters activities inside his company and in the community. He introduced to Macy's a focus on environmental sustainability. The company reduced the use of paper and increased recycling. Macy's also reduced its use of electricity, 31% since 2002. And you may be surprised to hear me say this, Terry, but at Con Edison we do encourage energy conservation. We don't encourage the lack of use of power like we do during some storms, Nelson, but we try and work on those things. Terry's also been a champion of education, and he continues to support his alma mater, the University of Arizona. He inspired students with addresses such as From Campus to CEO. Terry has personally established scholarships. The School of Family and Consumer Sciences created the Terry Lundgren Center for Retailing in his honor. Macy's helped to create an on-campus career service center. Terry and Macy's continues to be strong, generous partners of the university. Terry also supports educational initiatives right here in New York City. He participates in the Principal for a Day program. Terry and Macy's have especially supported the Life Sciences Secondary School in East Harlem. It's no surprise that Terry has forged a strong partnership with the Fashion Institute of Technology, just a couple blocks away from his building. Scores of FIT students have become associates at Macy's, working in design, merchandising, planning, buying, and other areas. Terry, the philanthropist, has taken a leadership role in the community through service on charitable and public boards. Terry's personal focus reflects two important sides of New York City: the leading center of commerce and finance, and also a vibrant center for arts and culture. Terry received the Carnegie Hall's Medal of Excellence for outstanding philanthropic leadership in the arts. Terry noted that Macy's draws inspiration from the creative influences around us, including art, music, and dance, and said Carnegie Hall is the ultimate stage of the most talented American and international performers, and they bring a lot of life and vitality to our great city. Finally, Terry, the champion for New York City. I've enjoyed working with Terry at the Partnership for New York City, which Terry co-chairs. The partnership engages business leaders to advance the city, the state, and the country's economy. When we're there talking about what some of the issues are, Terry's always looking out for what's best for the people in our city, in our country, and we clearly have a lot of work to do. But some of that work has been reflected in the Partnership's Investment Fund, which has raised more than $100 million and made more than 100 investments in businesses and nonprofit projects in New York City, which continues to grow, help grow the city of New York. I think Terry's own words sum up the secret to his success. In a New York Times interview, Terry described a poster in the office of Gene Ross, who had recruited him into Bullock's. The poster said, "Bloom where you are planted." Gene further elaborated, "Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, do this really, really well." From campus to CEO and the sales floor to the boardroom, Terry, this evening, we celebrate all that you have done really, really well. For Macy's, for your customers and for your employees, and for the people of New York City and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to introduce Terry Lundgren.